Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Okay. So, hey everyone. Hello everyone. Welcome to today's Python live session. Um, I'm really excited to have you all here. So, now this live session is for beginners who are just starting out or someone who is just brushing up on your fundamentals on
Hey
Python.
everyone, hello
Okay.
everyone.
So
Welcome
you
to
are at the
today's
right
Python
place.
live session.
So
In today's
um,
live, we are going to
I'm really
build a
excited to
strong
have you all
foundation
here.
in Python, starting
So
with the basics
now
like
this live session
operators,
is for
string,
beginners
conditional
who are
statements,
just
loops,
starting
and
out
functions.
or someone who is just
Okay,
brushing up on your
then
fundamentals on
once we
Python.
have warmed up
Okay,
with the
so you
code
are at
on
the
the
right
right
Python
place,
live session.
then we will dive
So
into the
in
heart
today's
of
live,
today's session.
we
That
are
is,
going to
I'm really
build a
excited to
strong
have you all
foundation
here
in Python.
in Python,
Starting
so
with the basics.
now
In that
like
live session is
operators,
for
string,
beginners
conditional
who are
statements,
just
loops,
starting
and
out
functions,
or
inheritance
someone who
with
is
all
just
types and
brushing up on your
examples. Then,
fundamentals on
once we have
Python.
warmed up
Okay,
with the
so you
code
are at
on
the
the
right
right
place.
method overriding,
Then we will
method
dive into the
overloading,
in today's
and
live.
operator
Today's session
overloading.
that
We are
is
going to
I'm really
build a
excited to
strong
have you all
foundation
here.
in Python,
In Python.
starting with the basics
Now
like
we
we
live
operate
session is for
examples, string, and some
beginners
conditional
who are
statements,
just
loops,
starting
so
out
make sure
or
inheritance you stay
someone who
tuned
is
all
just
the time.
brushing up on your
It's going to be
fundamentals on
practical. We have
Python.
warmed up
Okay,
with the
so you
code
are at
on
the
the
right
right
place.
method overriding,
Then we will
method
dive into the
overloading,
today's
and
live.
operator
So
overloading.
we
We
are
are
going
going
to
to
I'm really
build a
excited to
strong
have you all
foundation
here.
in Python,
In Python.
starting
So
with the basics
now
like
we
we
live
operate
session is for
examples, string, and some
beginners
conditional
who are
statements,
just
loops,
starting
so
out
make sure
or
inheritance you stay
someone who
tuned
is
all
just
the time.
brushing up on your
It's going to be
fundamentals on
practical.
Python.
We have warmed up
Okay,
with the
so you
code
are at
on
the
the
right
right
place.
method overriding,
Then we will
method
dive
also if
into
you're
the
watching
today's
live,
live.
so
So
we
that
are
is
going to
I'm really
build a
excited to
strong
have you all
foundation
here.
in Python,
In Python.
starting
So
with the basics
now
like
we live
operate
session is
examples,
for
string, and some
beginners who are just
loops,
starting
so
out
make sure
or
inheritance you stay
someone
tuned
who is
all
just
the time.
brushing up on your
It's going to be
fundamentals on
practical. We
Python.
have warmed up
Okay,
with the
so you
code
are at
on
the
the
right
right
place.
method overriding,
Then we will
method
dive
also if
into
you're
the
watching
today's
live,
live.
so
So
we
that
are
is
going to
I'm really
build a
excited to
strong
have you all
foundation in
here.
Python,
In Python.
starting
So
with the basics
now
like
we
operate
live
examples, string, and some
beginners who are just starting
so
out
make sure
or
inheritance you stay
someone
tuned
who is
all
just
the time.
brushing up on your
It's going to be
fundamentals on
practical. We
Python.
have warmed up
Okay,
with the
so you
code
are at
on
the
the
right
right
place.
method overriding,
Then we will
method
dive
also if
into
you're
the
watching
today's
live,
live.
so
So
we are
that
going
is
to
I'm really
build a
excited to
strong
have you all
foundation in
here.
Python,
In Python.
starting
So
with the basics
now
like examples, string, and some
beginners who are just starting
so make
out
sure
or
inheritance you stay
someone
tuned
who is
all
just
the time.
brushing up on your
It's going to be
fundamentals on
practical. We have
Python.
warmed up
Okay,
with the
so you
code
are at
on
the
the
right
right
place.
method overriding,
Then we will
method
dive
also if
into
you're
the
watching
today's
live,
live.
so
So
we
that
are
is
going to
I'm really
build a
excited to
strong
have you all
foundation in
here.
Python,
In Python.
starting
So
with the basics
now
operate examples, string, and some
beginners who are just starting
so make
out
sure
or
inheritance you stay
someone
tuned
who is
all
just
the time.
brushing up on your
It's going to be
fundamentals on
practical. We have
Python.
warmed up
Okay,
with the
so you
code
are at
on
the
the
right
right
place.
method overriding,
Then we will
method
dive
also if
into
you're
the
watching
today's
live,
live.
so
So
we
that
are
is
going to
I'm really
build a
excited to
strong
have you all
foundation in
here.
Python,
In Python.
starting
So
with the basics
now
operate examples, string, and some
beginners who are just starting
so make
out
sure
or
inheritance you stay
someone
tuned
who is
all
just
the time.
brushing up on your
It's going to be
fundamentals
practical.
on
We have
Python.
warmed up
Okay,
with the
so you
code
are at
on
the
the
right
right
place.
method overriding,
Then we will
method
dive
also if
into
you're
the
watching
today's
live,
live.
so
So
we
that
are
is
going to
I'm really
build a
excited to
strong
have you all
foundation in
here.
Python,
In Python.
starting
Okay. One second, 1 minute, guys. I think there is a problem with the sound. Let me fix it. Yeah. Hi, Isaac Matthew. Hi. 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 Hello. Yeah, yeah. I'm fixing it. Yes, yes. The background music, I'm fixing it. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Sorry for the background music. I was just checking that audible. Am I audible or not? So because of that. Okay. I hope now it's fixed. If it's fixed, you can comment it. Yeah. Okay. Now it's clear. Yeah. Okay. So let's begin with the class. Okay. So first of all, we'll start with the operators. As you know, uh, that the operators are the very core concept of any programming language. Okay. So we'll start with the operators first. Okay. Now, what are operators? Operators are special symbols. Okay, which are used to perform operations on variables and values. Okay. Now there are different types of operators in Python. Suppose there is arithmetic operators, comparison operators, logical operators, and assignment operators. Okay. So we'll see each of them one by one. Okay. We'll take some examples. Okay. Now let me take one example. I'll just take two values. Okay. Let's say I'm taking a variable a and I'll assign a value 10 to it, and then in b 5. Okay. Now I have to just print the sum of this variable a and the variable b. So what I'll do, I'll just simply first of all I'll print a string that what I'm trying to do. So I'm trying to perform a sum. So I'll just let you know that it is a sum. Then simply I'll use a plus b. Now this plus symbol is an arithmetic operator. Now what are arithmetic operator? These operators means the operators which are present in arithmetic category are basically the mathematical operators. Okay. Suppose plus is there, addition, subtraction symbol, that is minus symbol. Then for multiplication there is asterisk. For division there is slash symbol which is used. Then for doing the division, but you want the remainder this time, then there is called as modulus operator, which is also called as the percentage symbol in your keyboard. Okay. So these are few mathematical symbols. Okay. So I have to just perform a mathematical operations on variable, because as I have told the definition of operators, that operators are special symbols which are used to perform operations on variables and values. Okay. So the I have taken two variables and I'm performing addition. Okay. Now you can take directly two values also. Suppose 5 multiplied with 5. Okay. So the output will be 25. Okay. So variables and values. Okay. Let's take one more example. Now this time in this example, what we are going to do, we'll check for logic. Okay. So we'll check the logic. What I'll do, I'll take a username. Okay. So this is a username. Then I'll take a input username and I'll take the input for the username. Okay. Enter the user name. Now what I will try to do, I'll try to basically match this username. Okay. Let me name this username as stored username. Okay. So I'll try to match this stored username with whatever input username I'm going to take at runtime. Okay. If it will match, so I'll print a message that login successful. If it will not match, then I'll print that login failed. Okay. So for that, I'll use a conditional statement. If stored username equals to input username, what I'll try to do, I'll just print or else what I'm going to do, I'll just print login failed. Okay, let's just run the code, enter the username. So the stored username is, as you can see, admin. So I'll just try to give that only. Okay, so login successful. If anything goes wrong, suppose admin or anything extra, if I'll give, so login failed. Now, why I'm using this example? To show you the use of two types of operator. One is the assignment operator, okay? This single equal sign. It is an assignment operator because it is used to assign, this is a value, so it is used to assign a value to a variable. So that's why it is an assignment operator. And one more operator we have used here, that is this double equal. People almost get confused in these two equal signs. So one equal is an assignment operator, two equals together is an comparison operator. Okay, whenever you have to compare between two values, so then you have to use double equal with no space between them. Okay, so yeah, so these are operators. Now there are many other types of operators also. There is, we have videos on operators in our channel, so you can go and look that video. Okay, now we'll move to the next topic, which is the strings in Python. So a string in a Python is a sequence of character. Yes, strings are also treated as a sequence in Python. Okay, and they are the sequence of characters which are enclosed within the quotes, single quotes or double quotes. Okay, both are same. You can use single quotes also, you can use double quotes also. Let me show you an example. Okay, so I'll just store hello, and I'll take one more string to variable, and in this also I'm going to store hello. Okay, so these string 1 and string 2 both are hello in it, and string 1 is enclosed within single quotes, string 2 is enclosed within double quotes, but both are same, both have hello in it. Okay, so both are same, both will act same. Now one more thing about Python strings are that they are immutable in nature. Okay, immutable means once you have created or you have stored a string, you cannot change it. Okay, you can replace using the replace method, but you cannot change it. You cannot not add or remove something. You can replace one character, okay, or a substring from your string. So strings in Python are by default immutable in nature, okay, but they support many operations as they support slicing, they can support concatenation, and there are many methods pre-built, built-in methods of strings like dot lower, dot split, dot capitalize, okay, dot upper. So there are many methods. Okay, now I'll take a name. Okay, now what I'll do, I'll try to uh, capitalize this. I'll try to show you a method, a string built-in method. Okay, so suppose I have stored a name Alice in a variable called as name. Now I have to print welcome, and I want that the name Alice, A should be in capital. As you can see, I have stored A in a small alphabet, but I want to capitalize it. Okay, means the first alphabet of any word should be in capital. So for that, there is a built-in method in Python, and that method name is capitalize. Okay, so now I'm going to show you that how you can use that method. Okay, or how you can use other Python methods. So I have given a string welcome, and then that name Alice will be printed. Okay, but I want that A should be in capital. So for that, there is a method called as capitalize. Okay, so you have to use this method like this. Now as you can see, the output welcome Alice, and A has been capitalized. Okay, now how to use a method or string method? So as you can see, First of all, you have to write the name of the variable in which you have stored the string or the name. So name is our variable name. Then using the dot operator, and then you have to write the method name. So for now it is capitalized. Okay. And then the parenthesis because it is a method. Okay. And then you have to close the print function parenthesis. And when you will execute the code, you will see that Alice A has been capital. Now I'll do what? Now I'll show you some other methods also. There is one more method. Suppose if you have to convert this Alice, all the characters in uppercase. So then there is a method called as upper. Okay, so now as you can see, welcome Alice, and Alice, all characters are, means all alphabets are in upper cases. Then similar to upper, there is lower. Okay, same way, same method, only the name of the method has been changed. Okay, the technique is same. How you have to write it, it's just same. Name dot lower. So now you will see everything in lowercase. It was already in lowercase, but okay, it got converted also, and then again it is in lowercase. Now, there are many more methods. So if you want to explore, you have to go to string methods and you can explore all the methods. And how to use the methods, I have shown you already. You have to just write the variable name or the value and then dot, and then you have to write the method along with the parenthesis. Simple. Okay. Now, I'll show you one more example by reversing a message. Okay. Or reversing a string. So I'll just create a message variable, and in this I'll write hello, how are you? Okay. I'll do what? I'll show you that how you can reverse it. And believe me, reversing a string in Python is very much easy. Okay. It's just a single line of code, or you can say a few word line of code. Okay. So you have to just write, first of all, just give a message that it is a reversed message. Okay. And then you have to write the variable name which you want to reverse. Okay. Then you have to use the square braces. Okay, in the square braces, you have to mention colon, colon, then -1. Then you have to close the print function, and now you will see that your string has been reversed. Okay. Now, how this happens? Okay. See, first of all, this message is the variable name. Then inside the square braces, actually we used a phenomena called as slicing or a technique called as slicing in Python. Okay. Because in the definition also I have told you that Python strings support many operations like slicing, concatenation, okay, and it supports some string methods also. So it supports slicing. Slicing means that you can slice, means from a, suppose you have a string, so from a string you can slice, means you can extract multiple characters at one time, okay. That is called as slicing. So using the concept of slicing, you can do reversing also, okay. For that, I'll just need to show you one thing. First, I'll show you a normal thing. Now I have removed the -1. Okay. Now what happened? The same message got printed. Hello, how are you? Okay. If I want to print only hello, then what I have to do? Then I have to mention here 0, and then I have to count at what index the O is getting, means O is there. So H is at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll write 5. Okay. Hello. So now we have seen that I have extracted hello successfully from my string message in which I have stored hello, how are you? From the string hello, how are you? I have successfully extracted hello. Okay, using slicing. Okay. Now how I have done, as you can see, the first place before colon means before first colon where I have written 0, it is the starting part. Okay, it is the starting part of the string. Then the middle one, the 5, which I have written between two columns, okay, that is the end part, okay. So that where you want to end, till what you want to extract, okay, that you have to write there. And the last one is the step, okay. So by default, the step value is 1. So by 1, it is automatically incremented. So if you'll not write 1, then also it will be incremented by 1. And if you'll write 1, then also it will be the same thing. Okay. Now, it was the index, means O was at index 4, means position 4. But I have written 5 here because the end part is exclusive in nature. It means that if I'll write 4, so it will extract till the second L only. Okay, so if I have to extract till O is at the fourth position. So O is the fourth position is exclusive in nature. So because of that, I have to write 4 plus 1. Okay, so that will be 5 here. So remember this thing, it is very important that the end part is exclusive and the start part is inclusive. Okay, so uh, if you have successfully understood about the slicing, that how it is working, so then you will easily understand the reversing part also. Okay, wait, zoom. Yeah, okay. I think someone has told to zoom on the screen. Yeah, I think this will is visible. Okay, okay. So I hope you have understood the slicing part. I'll I'm going to again explain you guys that how to do slicing. Okay, see, first of all, you have to take two columns, and the first means before the first column, the first part is the starting part, means where you want to start from, means where you want to start extracting your text from. So in this case, I've written 0 here, means I want to extract from the very beginning. Okay, and indexing in Python starts from 0. Okay, then the end part, which is between the two columns, the end part is exclusive in nature. And then there is this step. Okay, so if you want to reverse it, what you have to do, you have to leave the start and end part as it is, and in the step you have to do -1. -1 indicates here that you are starting from back to start, means end to start. So then your string will be reversed. Okay, let's move forward. So this was all about the strings. Now we'll jump to the functions in Python. So functions are the reusable block of code used to perform a specific task, and they are defined using the def keyword. So in Python, whenever you want to create a user-defined function, you have to use the def keyword. So basically, we define a function in Python, okay? And the functions are very much useful in automation or structuring apps, okay? So let's see an example, then it will be more clear. So I'll just show you a real life example. Suppose a coffee machine function, okay? So if I have to create a function for a coffee machine, then how I'll do that, okay? So I'll just create a simple function so that it will be more relatable to you guys, okay? I'll just name the function as make coffee, okay? And in this, I'll take a parameter. My parameter will be coffee type. Now, first you have to use the def keyword followed by the name of your function. Now, this name depends on the user. Then you have to just right after the name, you have to give the parentheses, round braces. Inside the round braces, you can leave it blank also, or you can take a parameter also. It's upon you. Then followed by a colon. Colon in Python represents that the block of this particular means the block of this code, this particular area is being started. So means the block of this function is now starting. And I'll just print a simple message inside the function that your Okay. Now my function Now my function is ready. Now I have to call the function. Means the declaration, or you can say the defining part of function is completed. Now I have to call the function. Because if I'll execute the cell now, as you can see when I'm executing it, so there is no output. We have used the print function, but then also the function will not be executed. So whenever you want to execute a function, you have to call the function. Okay. So now how you will call the function? You have to just write the name of the function, and if you are taking any parameter, so you have to write the parameter. Okay, means you have to give a argument for that parameter. So my function name is make coffee, and I'm taking one parameter which is coffee type. So let's say espresso. Okay, so now as you can see, a message is there that your espresso is ready. So whatever argument we put at the time of function calling, at the time of function calling that went here, and then it gave us the whole message is generated using the print function that your coffee type, which is your espresso, is ready now. Okay, if you want to call it one more time, you can call it. If you want to call it as many as times, you can call it, let's say cappuccino now. So your cappuccino is ready. Okay, now why we say that functions are reusable code blocks? Because of this feature, that once you have created a function, okay, suppose I have created a function to make a coffee, and I have called the same function two times. I can call it three times, four times, five times. So by using a single line, means by just writing the function calling part, I am just executing two lines of code. Okay. So basically we are reusing these two lines, these code blocks again and again just by calling the function. So that's why they are called as the reusable code blocks. Now let's try one more example. So now this time I'll create a function for checking ATM balance. Okay. So let's check balance. I'll take one parameter as balance. I'll print. Okay. Now I've created the function successfully. I'll call the function check balance with the parameter of suppose 5,000 rupees. Okay. So your balance is 5,000. Now, one more thing about function is that the limit of parameters is not fixed. You can take as many as parameters you want, okay? And this parameter will act like a normal variable only, okay? So yeah, but remember one more concept, that the number of parameters should be equal to the number of arguments, okay? So if you are suppose taken five parameters at the time of function defining, so at the time of function calling, you have to take five arguments also, okay? So that is the core concept of functions. So remember that thing. Now we'll move to the next topic, that is the conditional statement, if, elif, and else. So we'll just take a quick review on this. So this conditional statements, if, elif, and else, is used to execute code based on conditions. Okay. So I'll just show you an example. I'll just create a grading system. Okay. So suppose I have taken a variable called as marks, and in that I have taken a value 85, and then I'll use the conditional statement if, that if marks is greater than equal to 90, so then simply print grade A. Okay. Now I have to check for one more condition, that is if marks is greater than equal to 75, then simply print grade B. And now I don't want any more conditions to check, so I'll just give the default part, that is else print grade C or below. Okay, so grade B, because we are less than 90, so this condition becomes false. 85 is greater than 75, so that's why this condition becomes true. So grade B. If I'll change this value to suppose 67, so it will give you C or below, because both the conditions got false. Okay, so by default the else one got executed. If I'll give it over here, suppose 99, so it will give you grade A. Okay, I'll show you one more example. Uh, Traffic light decisions. Okay, so let me take a variable called as signal. So if signal is equal to green, print go. If signal equals to yellow, print slow down. Or in the else case, which is the by default case, you can give a stop. Okay, let me execute this. So signal was red, so it does not match with first condition, it does not match with the second condition, so by default it give you stop. If I'll change it to green, so go. If I'll change it to yellow, then slow down. Okay, let's move to the next topic, which is the also the core concept of programming, that is the loops. Okay, so the loops is used to repeat a block of code again and again, and in Python there are two types of loops available. One is the for loop and second one is the while loop. So we'll see both of them one by one. Okay, now the question arises here that when to use which type of loop, because both loops are used to repeat a block of code. So the for loop in Python is especially designed to iterate over a sequence such as string or a list, okay, or a tuple. And while loop, it is it repeats the block of code while a condition is true. Okay, so whenever you have to iterate over a sequence, so then you can use a for loop. But whenever you have to iterate over a condition, that you have to perform this particular block of code or this particular task till the condition is true, so then you can use a while loop. Okay, now I'll show you one example, then it will be more clear. So let's say uh, washing machine spin cycles, to show that how many time a washing machine have cycle. Okay, so I'll show you the use of the for loop. Okay, so for cycle in, I'll use the range function. Okay, so this is the code. Now, anyone in the chat can tell me that how many times this particular block of means the sprint function will be executed. Anyone in the chat can tell me that how many times this particular print function will be executed. Okay, okay. AIT 17 BCS 3654 four times. Okay, four times. Okay. Manikant three times. Okay, three times. Okay, Free Fire game one, two, three. Yeah. Okay. Okay, three times. Okay. Now let's see how many times. But the range functions also somehow works like the slicing only. Okay. So if you'll see, so yes, one, two, three, Free Fire game, you are right. Spin cycle one started, spin cycle two started, spin cycle three started. Uh, 817 BCS 3654, you are also correct three times. Okay. So those who have said Manikan three times, so those who have said three times, yes, you are correct three times. Why? Because you have mentioned the starting part as one, and this end part is again exclusive in nature. So 4 means it's actually 3. Okay, because it's not counting 4, it will count till 3 only. So yeah. So those who have said 3, you are correct. Okay. And those who have said 4, 5 or other number, it's okay. We are learning it. Now you have understood that it will work 3 times only. Okay. So this was basically the for loop. Okay. Now let's move to the while loop. Let's see one example of the while loop also. So now I'll do what? I'll take a real life example of suppose fan running. Okay. So what we are going to do, basically, we will set a temperature, and if it will come below that limit, okay, so then the fan will be till that limit, the fan will be on. If it will be less, means if it will be less than that temperature, so fan will automatically be off. Okay. So first of all, I'll set a temp, means I'll set a temperature as 30. Okay. Then I'll take the while statement. Okay. And in the while, I'll give a condition that this should execute if the temperature is greater than 25. Okay. So if the temperature is greater than 25, so then the condition will be true, and it will be means the fan is on, and whatever we want to perform, that will be performed. So let's give the print statement. Fan on, and the temperature is, each time we are going to print the temperature also. And now one more important thing I'll tell you just after writing this while loop. Okay. Okay, I think it will work. Let's execute it. Yeah. So fan on, temperature 30. So by default, we have set the temperature to 30. And our condition was that it will work only only until the temperature is greater than 25. So the moment it will be 25, the while loop condition will be false and it will stop executing. Okay. So I have set it to, I've set the temperature to 30. Then I'm checking that if it is greater than 25. So do what? Fan on and print the temperature also. So fan on, temperature 30. And each time I'm doing one more thing, that I'm decrementing also by 1. Okay, which means what? If I'll not decrement it, so by default it will be 30 only, and it will went to a what? Infinite loop. Okay, because the 30 will be never decremented. Each time temp will be 30 only, and the condition will check for 30 only, and it will become infinite checking. Okay, so it will go on infinite loop. So we don't want that. So whenever you are using while loop, make sure you use incrementation or you use decrementation. Okay, I'll come to this in more detail. First of all, let's see the output. So I'm decrementing each time by 1. So okay, so we got a super chat, Ritesh Kumar 40. Thank you so much. So now as you can see here, fan on. Hope you like it. Hope you're liking this live session. So now as you can see, fan on, temperature is 30. Then again decrementation happen, and this temp variable which has 30 temperature, now it is 29. So now this temp is 29, but again it is greater than 25. So fan on temp 29, fan on temp 28, 27, 26. The moment it decremented and it becomes 25, then the while loop checks for the condition. Now this temp is 25. 25 greater than 25, condition becomes false because they both are equal, they are not greater than. So this whole thing does not get executed. Okay. So whenever you are using a while loop, three things you have to take in consideration, or else if you will not consider these three things, you will go on an infinite loop. Okay. First of all, the initialization part. Okay. This part is called as initialization. Then the condition part. This is also very important. The condition, if we'll put something opposite, it will never going to be executed. So yeah, that is also very important. Condition, and then incrementation or decrementation. These two things are also you have to take in consideration. So three things whenever you are using while loop, you have to take in consideration. Now I'll add one more thing to this. Else print fan off. Now when I executed it again, so and now you can see fan on 30 till 26 is got executed. Then one more message is there, that fan off. And what message and how this message is coming, I have used the else statement. Okay. Yes, this is also one important thing that most of the people don't know about it. Okay. Uh, Tell me in the comment that who knows about this else, that you can use the else statement with the loops also. Yes, for the for loop also and with the while loop also, you can use it. But what is the use case of this else whenever you are using with a loop? So use case of this else is that this else will be executed only when the condition will be false. Means when the execution of the means this while statement will stop, then only this else will get executed. And this else will be executed only one time. And same thing happens with the for loop also. Okay, in the for also the else will work like that only. So you can use the else statement with for and while also. Okay. So this was the while loop. I hope you have learned something from the while loop. So now, uh, can you guys type the code of printing 5 values using while loop? Means I want you guys to print 5 numbers. Anyone who can type the code for printing 5 values using while loop? So I have a question for you guys. Okay, yes, yes, I equal to 0. So let me write the question. Write a code for for printing 5 numbers using while loop. Okay, we have one more super chat. Anirudh Gohil of rupees 40. Thank you, Anirudh, for your support. Yeah. So yes, 817 BCS, you have written num equal to 0. Okay, what are the next lines of your code? Yes, okay, I'll write num equals to 0. Okay. Then next line of code. Anyone? It's very simple. It's very simple. You have to just use this concept only. First, the initialization part. Okay, so initialization part is completed. We have assigned num to 0. Now, the condition part. What should be the condition? Anyone? Okay. Free Fire game num equals to 1. Okay. Okay. You have assigned not 0. You have assigned 1. Okay. Num equal to 1. Then in the condition part, we have written while num greater than 5. Then you have written print. Okay. Num. Like this. Okay. So Free Fire game has said that num equals to 1 while num is greater than 5, print num. Okay. Okay. Let's check for Free Fire game. So no, you are wrong. Actually, there will be no greater than uh, 817 BCS. Yes, you are correct. Num will be less than 6. Okay. Num will be less than 6 and num equal to initialize plus 1 and then print num. Okay. Print num. But you are missing one more thing, 8. This will go to an infinite loop. I'll show you that how. See, it will go to an infinite loop because you have missed one step. Now, wait a second. I'll just restart my kernel because it went to an infinite loop. So I have to restart it. Wait a second. Let it restart. So 8, you are mistaking in at one part. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Free Fire game. Yes. Now you are correct. Free Fire game. Yes. Free Fire game. Num plus equals to means you have to use the assignment operator plus equals to 1 because now I think everyone knows why, but again I'll repeat the why we have to use the incrementation part because if you'll not increment it, so by default the num will be always 1. Okay, so it is never going to means this condition will be always true. It never going to be false. To make this condition, because at some place we have to stop. To make this condition false, we have to increment it so that when this num will be 6, it will be automatically stopped. So now when I'll execute this, you will see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, okay, Free Fire game, correct. Manikan, correct. 817 BCS, okay, correct. Okay. So I think you guys have cleared the concept of while loop. Okay. Now these were the core concepts which we are focusing on. Okay. Now we will head to the main topic of today's live session. Okay. Now I think we are warmed up. Okay. So now we'll move to the class and object. Yes, Siddharth said you are also correct, but when you are printing number, so your number should be outside the codes. When you are printing it, it is inside the code. So that will be incorrect. That is going to print only number, not the actual 1, 2, 3, 4 values. It is going to print only number. Okay. So correct that and then your code is correct. Durga Prasad Lucky, yes, you can do that also. Less than equal to 5. That will also work. Let's check that if it will work or not. So that will also work, Durga Prasad Lucky. Okay. Yes, yes, that will also work. Okay. So now the while loop is uh, I hope you have understood the while loop because you guys only have solved this question. Okay. So now we'll move to the class and object. So our topic is class and object. Okay. Now, what is a class? A class is a blueprint for creating objects. Okay. So now what is object? So object is the instance of a class with attributes and methods. Now, most of the time people get confused. Now, most of the time people get confused between class and object. Okay, that what is class and what is object. So class is a blueprint and object is the instance of the class. But people don't understand these terms, that blueprint and instance. Okay, so I'll just make this concept clear by just giving you an example. Whenever you try to build a house, okay, whenever you try to build a house, so first of all, you just directly go and start building your house, or you just go to an engineer or to some person, or you yourself only try to design the map of your house, that where which room will be there, where will be the kitchen, where will be the washroom, where will be the guest room, where will be the hall. So first of all, you design it, okay? You create a map. So that map or that designing part, you can consider that thing with the class. Okay, so that thing is the class. So whenever you create a map or or you start designing your house, so uh, at that time the money is not invested. Okay, at that time you don't bring the raw materials. At that time you have just created the map. Now, the same concept will be take in consideration with the class and object. Whenever you create a class, means whenever you define a class and the methods inside the class, then the memory is not allocated at that time. That's why it is called as a blueprint. Okay. So whenever you create a class and you create or you put methods inside the class, then at that time, the memory is not allocated. So the memory is allocated when? The memory is allocated at the time you just create the object of that class. That's why object is called the instance of the class. Okay. So now I'll just show you one example, a simple example, class car, and I'll take a function and I'll take a method as a start. I'll take a self-reference variable self. Okay, this is the by default structure. You have to take it every time. I'll explain in the further topic why we have to use the self. But for now, you just understand it that this is the by default thing. You have to use it. Now, successfully, I have created a class. Now I'll execute the code and I'll show you. As you can see, there is no error. Means the creation of class is successful. I have created a method called as start. That is also correct. But there is no output, there is nothing, and the memory is also not allocated for this class because this is a simple blueprint. We have just created the class and we have shown that inside our car class we have only one method that is called as start, one function called as start. Now whenever at the time we'll create the object of this class, then the memory will be allocated. And how to create an object? So for creating an object, you have to first write the name of the object. Means first there will be object name, then the assignment operator or a single equal sign, and then the class name car followed by the parenthesis. Okay. Now we have successfully created the object underscore car. Okay. Now whenever you have to call the method start, so now you have to use the object name each time. Okay. So my underscore car dot. Okay, we are using dot operator start and then the function name. Okay, so what was the function name? The function name was start. And now you will see the moment I have just called the start method using the object name, so we are getting this message that car has started. Okay, so this was a simple example to show you guys that how class and object works. So basically a car is what? A car is the house. And what was start? So start was the room. Okay, but was the memory allocated? No, memory was not allocated because this house car and this start, which is you can consider it as a room, is just on the paper, is just in the map, it is a design. When it got built whenever we created the object. So where we created my underscore car object, okay, and this is the way you have to create the object. The moment you created the object, the memory allocated, the memory for this car class is allocated, and then you can use the method start by using the object name, by writing object name my underscore car dot and whatever the method name is followed by the parenthesis. Okay, okay, let's take one more example uh, for an employee object. Okay, so I'll just create a class for an employee, then I'll create a method, and I'll just simply print that employee is working. Again, employee1 equals to employee. Now the object is successfully created. Now we have to call the method work. So now you can see the output, employee is working. Okay, employee is working. So I hope you have understood the concept of class and object. Any question regarding class and object? Anyone? Any confusion, any question regarding the class and object, you can just ask now. Okay, no questions. Let's move to the next topic, which is the topic of class and object only. That is the init constructor and the self. Okay, so Durga Prasad Lucky, you have one question that how many objects can we create? You can create as many as objects you want. Okay, it depends on the user that how many objects he want to create, he or she wants to create. Okay, 817 BCS 3654. Why we are using self here? See, self is a reference variable. Okay, reference variable means that it is going to refer to the current instance of the class. Okay, it is going to refer the current instance of the class. So suppose in this example there is no parameter. Okay, whenever we are going to use the init method, the init constructor, then I am going to show you, means in this topic only your confusion will be clear. Okay, but for now it is a reference variable. Okay, I'll show you the use case of reference variable self, then you will be understand it more clearly. Okay, guys, before starting this init constructor and self, I have a question. What is a class in Python? Now only I have told you that what is a class in Python. Guys, what is a class in Python? and how is it defined? Okay, so I have a question for you guys. So your question is, what is a class in Python and how it is defined? Guys, uh, here is your question. So if you have understood class and object, so then you can reply it that what is a class in Python and how it is defined. Okay, it's like a blueprint. Very good. So class is a blueprint in Python. Very good, Durga Prasad Lucky, for creating objects. Yes, yes, you are correct. And how is it defined? Durga Prasad Lucky, how it is? Yes, class. Yes, Kavya Rashu, class is a blueprint. Yes, correct. And how it is defined? Vray, what is the first step to learn Python coding for beginner? You are asking this question. Just watch the video till the end. That is the first step you have to take. Isaac Matthew, a class is used to model real world object. Okay. It is defined using the class keyword. Very good. Okay, we can define by writing class. Durga Prasad Lucky, correct. Class and followed by the class name. Okay. So class is the keyword and you followed by the class name. A class is a blueprint of object for defining it and class name. Very good. AIT 17 BCS. Very good. Anirudh Gohil, class is a group of objects and you can define it using methods like init. Okay, you can define it using methods like init, but it's not necessary that every time you have to use this init method to define it. Okay, but okay, you are correct. In some manner you are correct. Durga Prasad Lucky, class name. Okay, guys. So now you guys know that what is a class in Python and how it is defined. So now we'll move to the next topic, that is the init and the self. Okay, that is the init constructor and the self. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about init. First of all, what is init? So init is a constructor in Python. Okay, or you can say it as a special method. So init is a constructor in method which is called when an object is created. Okay, it is a constructor which is called when an object is created. What is a constructor now? So a constructor is a special type of method that is called automatically at the time of object creation. So this is a particular definition of constructor. So anyone ask about constructor, so you can say that constructor is a special type of method that is invoked or called automatically when an object is created. Okay, so init is a type of constructor in Python. Okay, so whenever the object will be created, so whatever the value you want to initialize in your class, that will be called automatically whenever you are using init. And what is self now? So self refers to the current instance of that class. Okay, I'll show you one example, then it will be more clear. Let me create a class. Okay, so uh, I'll show you this example. This example is basically based on phone initialization. Okay, means basically we are going to initialize a phone means a phone number to its owner and the number. Okay, so we are going to set the owner also and the number also together. So for that, we are going to create a class. So my class name will be phone. So class phone, and I'm going to use the init constructor. So see how you have to use the init constructor. Def underscore underscore init underscore underscore, then parenthesis, and inside the parenthesis you have to take first the reference variable say self, then how many parameters you want. So I want two parameters here, owner and the number. Owner and the number. Now, why and how to use the self? What I have told you till now about self, that self is a reference variable uh, that refers to the current instance of the class. So for now, what is the current instance of the class? We have two current instances, the owner and the number. Okay. So for making it a current instance, we have to apply this like this. Self.owner equals to owner and self.number equals to numbers. So now if we have to use this owner and number in any other function, means in any other method inside this class, so then we have to use this self.owner. So this self.owner will each time refers to this owner, and this self.number will each time refers to this number. So we can easily access this owner and this number by using self.owner and self.number. So that is the use of self. That's why the self is necessary with the constructor init. Okay. Now I'll show you the use also, that how it is used. Okay. So I'll create a method def show. Now in this method, I'll just simply take self and I'll print that self dot owner, owner's phone number is self dot number. Okay. So now my method is ready. Now I have to simply create an object of the method. So I'll create p1 and I'll call the, okay, I'll call create an object of the class phone. Now this time this init constructor takes two parameters. Basically it takes three parameter, but this self is a reference variable. That's why we're not going to count it. So owner and number, and this self is a by default variable also. So that's why also it is not counted. So if you'll not count self, then there is only two, owner and number. So we will give only two arguments here. Okay. So first of all, let's give John. Okay. And phone number for John is any random number. Okay. Let's say 1 2 3 4 5. Okay. And now p dot show. Okay. p1 dot show. So John's phone number is 1 2 3 4 5. Okay. So this is the example. Okay. There are questions. Durga Prasad Lucky is asking, colon is mandatory. Yes, colon is mandatory whenever you are creating a class. Colon is basically a way of saying that now this block of code, means the block of code for a class or this block of code for a method or for a function, is started. Okay. So colon is mandatory. Yes, colon is mandatory. Then again, there is one. Can you please repeat it with definition? Okay, the constructor one. Okay, I'll save this video in the YouTube page. I'll save this video. This is recorded, sir. Yeah, this is recorded. You can anytime find it on YouTube. Anirudh Gohil is asking question, sir, आप रोज लाइव आते हो? सर रोज तो नहीं आ पाते हैं, पर जब भी टाइम मिलता है हम आते हैं. ओके. Kavya Rasu, what is show? Show is a method. Show is a method of the class phone. Show is a method of this class phone. Okay. Okay, guys, it seems that there are confusions, okay, in the init and self. So what I'm going to do, uh, I'll just repeat it again, okay, this init and the self thing with the starting, okay, with the definition. See, init is basically init is the constructor method, okay? Init is a type of constructor in Python class, and it is called when an object is created, okay? Now, what is a constructor? That is the main thing. So a constructor is a type of a special method which is called or which is invoked automatically when the object is created, okay? Now, what is self? So a self is a reference variable, means self is called as a reference variable in Python class and object. It refers to the current instance of the class. So what are the current instance? Okay, instance means what? I have already told you when we were seeing the previous topic, that was class and object. That object is an instance of a class. So whenever we are creating an object P1, so what are the values we are putting over here? The name of the owner and the phone number of the owner. So owner and the number. These two are the instances of the class. Okay. And init is a constructor that is called automatically. That's why we have to put this owner and number in init also. We cannot take it like this. We cannot give owner and number here. Okay. I hope you are understanding it. So that's why in init we have to give owner and number. Okay. Now, why to use self? Because self is the variable that is going to make it clear that this particular owner and this particular number which we are taking as a parameter in our method or in our constructor init is directly related to the object, is the instance of the class. Okay, to make sure that this owner and number are the instances of the class only, that's why we have to write like this, that self dot owner is equals to this owner and self dot number is equals to this number. That's why I've written here number and owner. Okay. So now this self dot owner and self dot number is converted into another reference, means it is an instance of a class. So whenever you have to print owner and number, so you have to write self dot owner and self dot number in another class. Is it mandatory to mention init if it automatically? Yes. If you want to means if you want to call, means suppose the same example owner and number, if you want to call it, if you want to put a parameter in your class, so then you have to put init. If you have to create a normal class, then init is not necessary. If you define init means defaultly self will come in default parameter value. Yeah, self will come in default parameter value. So whenever we are creating a method, not only in init, in any method in class, self will is a default thing, by default thing. You have to always write self. As you can see, if I'll not write self here, okay, let's not write self in show, method show. So this is going to generate an error, a type error, okay, that phone dot show takes 0 positional argument, but 1 was given, okay. So you have to always mention self. Whenever you are creating a method, you are creating a init also, or you are creating a show also, you have to create you have to put self. It is a by default. So inside a class, whenever you are creating a method, you have to put self in it. Okay. I hope you have guys understood this. And then this show is a method in which we have taken the by default variable self. Using this self, we are printing this self dot owner here and self dot number here. So our output will look like this. John's phone number is 12345, and whenever we are creating the object, so we have to mention like this, because we are taking two parameters for owner and number, so you have to write the owner name and the phone number also. Okay. Now, someone was asking that how many objects we can create. So you can create as many as objects. Suppose now I'll create one more object for another person. So P2 equals to phone, and suppose Alice. Let's take a number 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3. Okay. And let's call P2 dot show. So now you can see John's phone number is 12345 and Alice's phone number is 6789123. Okay, guys. Understood, sir. Okay, okay, very nice. Now, one more question. Okay. Is a class a template for creating objects in Python? So simply you guys have to answer in yes and or no. Okay. So your question is a class a template for creating objects in Python? Yes or no? Only yes and no. Everyone in yes and no. You have to reply in yes and no. Your question is a class a template for creating objects in Python? Okay. Yes. Anyone? Yes. 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 Okay. Okay. Everyone is saying yes. No one is no. So, okay. Those who have said yes, correct. Yes, a class is a template for creating objects in Python. Okay. Yes. Okay. No, sir. Everything in Python is an object. Yes, you are right. Everything in Python is an object. Ritesh Kumar, yes. Okay. So those who have said yes, it is correct. And sir, everything in Python is an object. Yes, that is true. Everything in Python is an object. We'll see that also. Yeah, but for creating, then yes, yes. Okay. Then one more question is there. Uh, can a class have multiple instances? Can a class have yes or no? Only yes or no? Your next question is, can a class have multiple instances? Guys, can a class have multiple instances? Uh, Billy Miranda, do you offer class daily? I'm new here. Uh, See, yes, we offer class daily. If you don't offer class daily, so we upload videos, relevant videos of Python programming. They are also very useful. That is uploaded daily. We target to upload daily 1 to 2 videos. So you can go through our channel. Priya Kumari, yes. Okay, so can a class have multiple instances? So Priya Kumari, yes. Anirudh Goyal, yes, can have. Durga Prasad Lucky, yes. Manikant, yes, yes. Everyone is saying yes, yes, yes. Now only I showed you that there is P1, then there is P2. So a class can have multiple instances. Instance means what? Object. So yes, a class can have multiple objects. Okay, let's move to the next topic. Before moving to the next topic, I have one more example for you guys. Okay, for init and self. Okay, that will make init and self more clear. And this example is basically based on a Netflix profile setup. Okay, so whenever you set up your Netflix profile or online platform profile, so it asks for a name or preferred languages. Okay, so we are going to see that only. So we'll create a class Netflix profile. So self will by default it will come. Okay, then I'm going to take two more parameters. One is name and another one is language. Now again, the same thing what we have done in the previous one that we'll do here also to make it a instance of the class. So we'll make self dot name equals to name and self dot language equals to language. Okay. Now we'll create a method to show the profile. So show method name will be show profile, and by default the self will be there. Then print self dot name self dot language. Okay, so now our method has been created. Now it's time for creating a object. So I'll create an object for user one. I'll call the class Netflix profile. Let's say we have a user called as Aman, which Aman has choose Hindi as its language. Okay, now to show this, what we are going to do using the object name user one, we will write dot show underscore profile. Okay, so profile Aman, language Hindi. Got it? Then you can the same thing you can create it for user 2 also. How? It's very simple. User 2, user 2, change the name and the language also. Suppose John English. So Aman language Hindi, John language English. Okay. So I hope with this example the init and the self is clear. Okay, there are questions. Okay, Billy Miranda, I'm new in Python. I enjoyed the lesson. Okay, thank you. Sir, is there any online courses are offering from your side? Okay, Durga Prasad Lucky. At the end of the class, I'll tell you about this online courses. Okay. GMVR, can we access the variable owner directly? No, you cannot access it directly. Means if you have written owner inside the init, then it's not possible. You have to give a reference name. You have to make it an instance of the class, then only it is possible, or else it will give you an type error. Okay, yes. If it is an instance variable, how can we call it? As it is initialized inside init. Syntax, please. Okay, so your question is that if it is an instance variable, how can we call it as it is initialized inside init? Syntax, please. If it means you want to say that how directly we can, if it is initialized, so how directly we can access it? Okay, this is your question. So you can directly use the print and what was there? What was the object name? P1 dot and owner. Okay, so as you can see, P1 dot owner John. You can directly print John also. Means you can directly print owner. You can directly print number also. Okay. Again, you can print P1 dot number. So you'll get the number also. Okay. Or if you want to use a method like shows, you can use the method also. Sir, is there any online course are offering from your side? Yes, there are courses which we offer. Okay. And they are more of a live classes only. Okay. So at the end of the class, I'll let you know about this. Let's focus on the class for now. Okay. If we assign value to it, will there be any change? Or you mean to say like this? Means p1 dot owner. Yeah, yeah, like this. Suppose you want to change it to, yes, you can do that. But you have to take in consideration one thing, means you want to change it, you can change it. But before changing it, you have to first create the object. Okay? You have to first create the object, then only you can change it. Okay? So first creation of object is mandatory and then you can change it by directly accessing it. Yeah. Okay. I hope you guys have understood this init and self thing. Let's move to the next topic. Billy Miranda, are you offer daily classes? Ma'am, we offer daily classes and we just upload daily. We have a target that we upload 2 to 3 videos daily, okay, on YouTube on the latest topics in Python, okay, on the basics topics means we covered almost everything in Python and the videos are uploaded on daily basis. So you can go and check out, okay. Let's move to the next topic that is encapsulation. Okay. Before going to the next topic that is encapsulation, there are a few questions I want to ask you guys. Okay. First question is is init automatically called when an object is created of the class? Only yes and no. Only yes and no's. GMVR, yes, we are going to see that also getter and setter thing. Just wait, follow up the video. Just stay tuned up. We are going to see that concept also. Okay. GMVR, yes. Okay. Guys, any Durga Prasad, Lucky, yes. Okay. Okay, yes. Okay, yes, yes, yes. Okay, guys, yes, correct. Yes is the correct answer. Okay, then there is one more interesting question. Okay, let's see who can answer that. The question is, I'll just simply write it only. Okay, now this is a very good question, and very few people can answer this only. Okay, I've asked, I've asked many times. Very few people are able to answer this question. Your question is, can we name self as anything else in the method definition? Okay, guys. So your question is, okay, Ritesh Kumar has said yes. Now I'm again repeating the question. Can we name self as anything else in the method definition? Because till now I have told you guys that self is just reference variable. Okay, it refers the variable, it makes the variable as an instance variable. So can we, instead of self, can we use any other name? No, we cannot. Okay, Anirudh, good. No, we cannot. 817 BCS, yes, good. Uh, GMVR, I think yes, as this reference, not a keyword. Okay, very good. Any more? Any more? Okay, Durga Prasad, not sure. Okay, so those who have said no, that is incorrect. Okay, and GMVR, yes, you are correct. As this is a reference variable, not a keyword, so we can use, means we can use some other keyword, means we can use some other word also in place of self. How? It's very simple. Instead of self, just put something else. Manikantan, no. Those who are saying no, actually we can use it. I'll show you how. It's very simple. What you have to do, let's take this example only. I'm just copy pasting the same example. Okay. Instead of self, suppose you want to use this. So change everything with this. Okay. So you will get the same output. Okay. As you can see, this I've changed self with this in all the places. And again, the same output is there. Okay. So yes, you can change it. But okay. But one more thing I want to share that it is not recommended. Okay. You can change it, but actually it is not recommended. So try using self only. Okay. Try using self only. Don't don't make changes which is irrelevant, because either you're using self or you are using this, it's not going to make or put any changes. Okay. So use self only because it is a by default thing, and it is recommended also. Most of the Python developers use that also. Okay. So yeah, I'll suggest to use self only, but if you want, you can do that. Okay. One last question, and then we'll move to the encapsulation. Does self refer to the class itself? Yes and no. Only yes and no's. Yes, I have mentioned that don't forget to use self. It is mandatory to use self, but instead of self, you can use some other words also. But you have to use a word. So that's why self is recommended. So that's why self is necessary. You can use it. Yeah, don't use keywords. Yeah, yeah, don't use keywords. Okay, GMVR is saying yes. 817 BCS is saying yes. Does self refer to the class itself? Guys, you want to? Yes. Anirudh also, yes, it refers to the class. Yes. Okay, everyone is saying yes. I think you guys have not heard the definition of self. I've The definition of self was what? If you guys remember it, that self refers to the current instance of the class. Current instance of the class. Yeah. Uh, Anjanya Kumar GMVR instance of class, not directly class. Very good. Manikant, no sir. Okay. So yes, actually, the answer of this question is that does self refer to the class itself? No. It refers to the instance of the class, not directly class. Okay, remember these things. Instance means the object. So with the example also it is clear that whenever you create the object, then only the init is get called, and then only you can access this dot name and this dot self dot name and self dot language thing. Okay, so it not refers to the class directly, it refers to the instance of the class, that is the object. Okay, so yeah. Okay, that's all for this init and self. Let's move to the next topic, that is encapsulation. Okay, encapsulation. What is encapsulation? Encapsulation basically means wrapping data and methods into a single unit. Okay, and that single unit is referred as a class only, and restricting direct access using private variables. Okay, protected or private variables. I'm again repeating what is encapsulation. So encapsulation basically means wrapping data and methods into a single unit. Okay, data are what? Data are the attributes. Okay, the variables which we create inside the class. So wrapping data, methods are what? The function which we create inside the class. So wrapping data and methods into a single unit. Most probably that single unit we are referring here is a class only. So wrapping data and methods into a single class and restricting the direct access using the private variables, that is called as encapsulation. Okay, use cases of encapsulation is that it hides internal state. Okay, means the data you can hide it, and it is used in security and privacy of the data. Okay, it is used in security and privacy of the data. So now let's do what? Let's take an example and it will be more clear. When we'll take the example, it will be clear for you guys also that how it works. So let's take an example for an ATM balance. Okay, in which we are going to add a functionality of private access. Okay, let's create a class called as ATM, class ATM, then def init self. Okay, now inside the init we are going to create a private variable. Okay, how to create a private variable inside a class? To create a private variable inside a class, you have to use double underscore, means the variable name, and before the variable name you have to put double underscore. Okay, so double underscore makes the variable as a private variable. Okay, Now I'll just show you that it is a private variable or not. So earlier, whenever we are creating an object and we try to access directly uh, the variables, so we were able to access it. But whenever we'll try to access a private variable directly, then we cannot access it. Then it will give you an error. Means, as you can see here, I have created the object ATM of the class ATM, and I'm just printing ATM dot the private variable pin. Let's see what's the output. So simply you can see you are getting an attribute error that ATM object has no attribute pin. Means it directly saying that pin, there is no variable called as pin. There is no attribute, there is no data called as pin. Okay. So this is the thing. Whenever you will create a private variable, you will get this thing. Now, how to resolve this? Okay. How to access the private variable? To access the private variable, what you can do, you can create a method, and inside the method, you can print it. Okay, so then you will, whenever you will call the method, it will be, means then you can show, means then that message can be seen. So let's create a method, check pin, check pin self, and let's print your pin is self dot underscore underscore pin. Okay, now we have created the object. Now we'll need to call the method. So ATM dot check pin. So now you will get your pin. Okay, if you try to directly access it, then it will give you an error, attribute error. Again, I'll show you that error. Okay, attribute error. You cannot, there is no attribute called as pin. But if you want to access the private variable, then you can put it inside a method and you can call the method. When you'll call the method, it will be called. Okay. Now let's take one more example so it will be more clear. Now this time we'll take an example of medical record system. Okay. In this, what we are going to do, we'll create a class. In that class, we'll take name and report. Report will make report as a private variable because that is a personal thing. But if you want to get the report, so we'll create a method also to access the report. But no one can directly access that report. Okay. Using a method, you can access it. So let's create. So class patient. Okay. So def init self name report self dot, and we are going to make the report as a private variable. So self dot underscore underscore report. Okay, and we'll assign report to it. So let's create the object first. So patient1 p1 equals to patient John, and The report for John is blood pressure is normal. Okay. Now I want to print P1 dot name, comma, P1 dot report, or actually underscore report. So it will give you an error. Okay. Okay, we have not initialized it. Self dot name equals to name. Now this time the error will be for the report. So I'll just do what? I'll just end this here and print report. Okay, so now name will be there. So now you can see p1 dot name, we are getting the name, but when we are trying to access the report, then the report is not accessible because it is a private variable. So now to access this report, what we can do, we can create a method. So let's create a method, def get report self, and we'll just simply return self dot underscore report. Okay. And one more thing which we have to do, we have to just call the method. So p1 dot get underscore report. So the report is blood pressure normal. Okay. So first p1 dot name is printing John, and then blood pressure normal. So this is encapsulation. Basically, it hides the internal state, okay, by creating private variables, and it encapsulate everything in a single unit. Everything means the methods and the attributes in a single unit, in a single class. Okay, so that is encapsulation. Most of the people get confused in encapsulation. Okay, encapsulation and abstractions. So yeah, this is encapsulation. I hope you have understood now. There is one question. Anjanya Kumar GMVR is asking, can methods be private? Yes, yes, you can make a method also private. Again, same technique. What you have to do, you have to just whenever you are defining a method, you have to just add two underscores, underscore and your method name, and it will be private. Okay, understood, sir. Okay, thanks. Yeah. Okay, you can make a method private, but again, you can access it also. Means you can make it private, but you can access it also by name mangling. There is a concept of name mangling. Okay, you can use that concept. Okay, but if it did not mention underscore parameter, then it is public. Yeah, then it will be public. If you are mentioning underscore and the parameter and the variable name, so then it is a private variable. So you cannot directly access it. If you want to access it, you have to create a method, and inside the method you can print it or you can return it. And then when you'll call the method, then it will be printed. But when you'll try to directly print it, then it will be not be accessed. Okay, 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 okay. So there are few questions, okay, based on the encapsulation. So your question is that can encapsulation help hide internal implementation of an object from the outside world? Guys, so I have a question for you guys. In yes and no, you guys can reply in simply yes and no. Can encapsulation help hide internal implementation details of an object from the outside world? Yes or no? In the definition of encapsulation only I have told you. Durga Prasad Lucky, yes. Anjaneya Kumar Jivyam, yes. Manikant, yes. Okay. So there are 20 to 30 people watching, only few are replying. If you are not knowing also, then also just listen to me and just reply it. Then only you will learn. Free Fire game, no. Okay. So one no and all of and rest of them are saying yes. So your answer is uh yes. Okay. Your answer is yes. Yes, encapsulation help hide internal details. We now only in this example only we have created a private variable. So what was the need of creating a private variable? Yes, Kavya Rashu, yes, yes. Ritesh Kumar, yes, yes, you guys are correct. It helps hiding it because what was the purpose of creating a private variable? To hide the data from outside the world. But there are some loopholes also that uh, we can access it using a method. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So your next question is, okay, very nice, Pelumi. Yes, yes is the correct answer. So your next question is, does encapsulation allow direct access, direct access to an objects? So your so guys, your next question is, does encapsulation allow direct access to an object's internal state from outside world? Does encapsulation allow direct access to an object's internal state from outside world? Can we access, can we, can encapsulation has, no sir. Okay. Okay. S- No, no, okay. Very good. No, no sir. Okay. Any more replies? Any more? Anyone who knows the answer? Free Fire game, yes. Okay. Okay. So the answer is no. Okay. Encapsulation does not allow us to directly access the object internal state from outside the world. Okay. The question was same. It was just the opposite. No, sir, cannot access to public. Yes. Okay. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, no, no, no. Okay, let's come to the next topic. I hope you have understood the encapsulation thing. Okay, it is basically called as binding. Okay, there is one more word for encapsulation, that is as binding. It binds attributes and methods together in a single unit. Okay, in this way also you can define encapsulation. So yeah, let's move to the next topic, that is inheritance. So inheritance. Anyone? Inheritance. See, if you want to define inheritance, so let me define using an example. Suppose there is a class child. So that child class can inherit properties and methods from another class. Okay. And most probably that another class can be a parent also. Okay. So now the proper definition is a class can inherit properties and methods from another class. Okay. Or you can say it in this way, a child class can inherit properties and methods from another class or from parent class. That is called as inheritance. Okay. There are different types of inheritance. Mainly there is single, multiple, multi-level, hierarchical, and hybrid. Five types, okay, that are allowed in Python. Uh, Let me show you a simple example of single inheritance, okay? So let's just do what? Let's create a class called as animal. Let's create a method sound, and let's print animal sound, okay? Class dog. Now what we are going to do, so this example is of a single inheritance. Okay. So this example is for single inheritance, single level inheritance. I've just created an animal class and I'm going to inherit this animal class in this dog class. Okay. Now how to inherit? So for inherited, if you want to inherit animal in dog class, so you have to follow this syntax. Okay. Whenever you are creating the class, the second class, that is the class dog, you have to open the parenthesis. Inside the parenthesis, you have to write the name of the class you want to inherit. Means the class whose property you want to use, whose attribute and properties you want to use. So I want to use the animal class property in dog class. That's why in the dog class, I have put the parenthesis and I have written animal, the name of the class in which which I want to inherit. So animal, and what I want to inherit, that I'll show you. Bark, self bark, and will print that dog barks. Okay. I'll create a pet. I'll create a object called as pet. And now you will see one thing. I have created an object of the dog class. And using this object pet, I'll call both the methods. I'll call this sound method also, which is in animal class, and I'll call this bark method also. So as you know, bark method can be directly called because it is the method of the dog class only. So output will be generated. But can can we are able to call this sound also? Can we call this sound method also? Now, looking at this code, can we call this sound method using this pet object? Guys, anyone who knows the answer in yes or no? Can we call this sound method using this object pet? Looking at this code, Free Fire game, yes, okay. Yes, okay, yeah, yes. Yes, so the answer is yes. Let's see the output. Okay, no. Okay, those who are saying no, it's wrong. We can access it. What I have told you to look at the code. Looking at the code, in the code itself, we are using inheritance. So, what is the definition of inheritance? That we can access another class properties also. Website bot, yes, yes. So, yeah, let me execute this. So, dog barks and animal sound. So we can access the property of animal also, means properties, methods of another class also by the object of this dog class. So that is inheritance for you guys, okay? Okay. Now this was single level inheritance. There are then there is multi-level inheritance, there is multiple inheritance, there is hierarchical inheritance, and uh there is hybrid inheritance also. Now I have question for you guys. Okay. So your question is, does inheritance promote code? Okay, guys, your question is, does inheritance promote code reusability by allowing subclasses to inherit common attributes and methods? Okay, there are questions. Inherit the properties. Yes, well said, sir. Website bot, how many types of inheritance? Basically, five types of inheritance are there. Single level inheritance, multi-level, multiple, hierarchical, and hybrid. Okay. Now, guys, reply to this question. Does inheritance promote code reusability by allowing subclasses to inherit common attributes and methods? Okay. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, everyone is saying yes, yes. Okay, yes. So yes is correct. Yes, inheritance promote code reusability. As you can see, there was one function in animal class and we use that function in dog class also. Means using the object of dog class, we just called it. Yes. Okay. There is one more question. Can a class inherit from multiple super classes in single inheritance? Okay, your next question is, can a class inherit from multiple superclasses in single inheritance? Superclasses means there could be, you can take it as a simple class or two parent classes, okay, or three parent classes. So can a class inherit from multiple superclass in a single inheritance? Guys, see the question carefully. Okay, no, yes, yes, from single child class. Okay, from single child class. Okay, yes. Okay, see the question carefully. Can a class inherit from multiple superclass in single inheritance? Can a class inherit from multiple superclasses in single inheritance? Is it possible in single inheritance? Yes, yes. Everyone is saying yes. Few of them are saying no. Yeah, obviously in single inheritance it can only inherit from the single parent class. So your answer is no. Okay. A class means it is possible to inherit from multiple superclasses, but not in single level inheritance. In single inheritance, you can inherit from a single parent only. Okay. So yeah. So your answer will be no. Okay. So this was single level inheritance. Uh, Now the time is over. So what we are going to do, we are going to end our class now only. Rest of the topics we'll cover in our next live session, okay, which will be probably tomorrow, okay, at the same time we'll start. So I'll notify you guys whenever I'll start the class. I'll notify few hours before that when the class will be. So the topics which are left is abstractions, okay, and the other types of inheritance, and the most important topic of OOPS concept, that is polymorphism. That is also we are going to cover in the next class. So okay, stay tuned up. Okay. Thank you. Bye. See you in the next live session. Okay, guys. Bye. Bye. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for watching this video. Hope you like this. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, 1817 BCS 3654. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. See you in the next section. Bye. Bye. Thank you, Akash. Thank you. Thank you, Kavya Rasu. Thank you. Okay, guys. I'm going to end this live session. Okay. We'll see you in the next live session. Bye.